Hi guys, and welcome to Tailored Talk. So, Ian Delusional Garry is going to be facing Neil Magny, his new opponent, at UFC 292. So we're going to take a look at his interview.
On this card,
originally he was supposed to face Jeff Neal. Jeff Neal got injured, so Neil BMF Magny, who's the real baddest MFer, said, sure, I'll fight Ian, because Neil is the same man that wanted to face Hamzat. So, I hope Neil wins, but I doubt it. But let's just hear what Mr. Delusional Garry would want to say.
In Boston is the return of the undefeated, the future Ian Machado Garry. Now, we thought that he was going to be fighting Jeff Neal. In fact, he's fighting a different kind of Neal. He's fighting Neil Magny instead, because unfortunately last week we found out that Jeff Neal was injured. And so let's speak to him about all this and more. Here he is, our old pal Ian Machado Garry. Hello, Ian. How are you? All good?
How are you, sir? I'm great. It's great to be back here. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure as always. I saw a little bit of a snippet. You've been very open with your life as of late on social media, but can you tell us, like, internally, because this was a big deal for you. This was a big step for you in your career. This was the next big test. When you found out about Jeff Neal's injury and subsequent withdrawal, how did you feel?
Upset because I had planned so much beauty around that finish that I was gonna go in there and perform for the
I really hope they remake that fight and that Neil finishes him. But
fans, I was annoyed because beating number 8 in the world and doing it in the way that I had planned was going to be so beautiful, Ariel. I promise you, it was going to be magnificent. So I feel robbed of that opportunity.
The guy's injured. What can you do?
And yeah, at the end of the day, now I'm looking at Neil Magny, and big shout out to Neil for stepping up, but I just don't think either of the guys are going to be good enough to beat me. So I'm annoyed, but I have to go in there and do a job, Aaron.
The good news is you're still on this big card. You're still fighting, so that's great. Was there a period there where you thought you may not still be on the card?
No, I believe that I am carrying this 292 card on my back.
Wow.
And that if it wasn't for me, this card would go down the drain. And with
the same card with Sean O'Malley on it. Okay, Ian.
Opponent change and everything, I think. At the end of the day, I'm just happy the fans get to see me, because I know there's a lot of Irish and Brazilian support in Boston that are excited to have me there. And I'm glad the fans get to watch me live in action.
Aljamain Sterling, Sean O'Malley, Zhang Wei Li, Chris White, you're carrying the card. Why do you feel that way?
For sure. I'm Irish. We're fighting in Boston. They have a massive Irish contingent.
You're Irish, but you're not McGregor, Ian.
Just been in Brazil the last 2.5 months. The biggest contingent for Brazilians is in Massachusetts and Boston. This is
He really thinks that he has like the McGregor star power. He really thinks he is the second coming of Conor.
Stage, the platform where I go in there, and you say it. You've got the likes of Sean O'Malley and Aljamain and all these guys, that I'm the superstar on the card. It will happen in the last fight. It's happening in this fight. The wheels are in motion. I just have to show up and do my thing, and the world will see.
Could I respectfully push back on one thing? I've heard you say that Jeff kind of, I think as you put it, like bitched out and all this stuff. Like, aren't injuries a part of the game? Why are you taking it so personally, and why does it feel like it's a reflection on him from your perspective that he got hurt and had to withdraw?
Because I had a feeling that he was going to pull out a long time before he did. Because
you're all fighters and you all get injured.
I believe that when you're fighting a young prospect and you've just come off a loss, it can be scary.
Yeah, but he came off a loss to Shavkat, who is another huge prospect, who's way bigger than you are.
It can get into your head. It can play mind games. He lost to Shavkat and now he's coming up against one of the other future
Oh my God, you're trying to compare yourself to Shavkat now.
prospects, future champions that everyone
Yeah, no.
is ranting and raving about.
No. Who's ranting and raving about Ian Garry?
And if you sign that contract, you have to show up, in my mind, especially
Well, yeah, you have to, unless you're injured.
when you're fighting a younger guy. You have to show up. And the fact that he didn't, and the fact that I had that feeling that I knew he was, it sucks. I believe I got in his head, Ariel. I got in
Please.
his head with the mugshot tee that we did. I believe the mind games won this fight, and that he was in his head so much that it ended up forcing him to pull out. And I've heard from different people different reasons why he's pulled out. I haven't
Please.
heard one clear answer. If I told you, Ariel, I'm out, I broke my hand, and someone else tells you I broke my hand and I broke my hand, it's quite clearly I broke my hand. I've been told 3 different reasons why he's pulled out of the fight. So,
From people who want to stir shit.
I just can't stay here and believe what I'm being told.
So because you're getting 3 different reasons, you think ultimately you were in his head and he wanted nothing to do with you in the end?
Absolutely.
The T-shirt, and I know you're now kind of claiming victory, right? I think you're saying you're now 13-0. Ultimately, why did you decide to do that? You showed up, I believe it was International Fight Week, right? 290.
Yes, sir.
With the T-shirt.
291.
Yeah. Why did you decide to do that?
Maybe Jeff Neal, if this gets reset, maybe Jeff Neal can show up with a picture of his wife's ex-husband. What about that?
It was look, we like to
Because allegedly, Ian's wife allegedly was cheating on her husband with Ian. So, if you want to get down and dirty, you can get down and dirty, but not every fighter is going to take it.
mind games. We like to have fun. We like to be disruptive. A lot like someone that you like. You know what I mean? You love Jake Paul, right? What does that guy do better than most people? He's disruptive, correct? He causes trouble. He causes games. By the way, I ran into Jake Paul last week.
Oh.
Yes, sir. I ran into Jake Paul. Let's just say that 2 very disruptive people are colliding to do business together and work together.
I mean, Ian Garry likes to pretend that they've got this wholesome family, but where did that family come from? Your wife cheated. So what if Jeff Neal got a picture of her ex-husband on a T-shirt? Would you be laughing then? I don't think so.
Oh.
I have joined the Better team.
Oh wow!
So we're going to be doing a lot of creative content. A lot of disruption is going to come of it. And if you want some advice,
Ian would know a lot about disruption, breaking up families.
One of the world's best strikers for
allegedly.
Diaz. You know who he's coming to, right?
Wow. Okay. Congratulations on that. That's pretty big news for you. Did you get to train with him?
No, we had a quick chop up. We chatted about it. We talked about some stuff about if the Diaz fight does come to fruition. I was like, you have to hit me up. You absolutely have to come to me, and I will show you how to just completely dismantle a southpaw.
Okay. Yes, we'll see if that all comes to fruition. Back to you though.
But back to your point.
Yeah.
Being disruptive.
Yeah.
When we sign a fight, we did it with
he's such a fame whore.
Cannabolics and the pizza for D-Rod on fight week. We sent him the pizza. That got massive traction, and it got fans enjoyed it, involved in the experience of, oh my god, I can't believe he missed weight. It gives fans something to cling on to and hold on to and get excited for. Now, if you're one of the best guys in the world and you have a mugshot, and I can take advantage of the media goal that a mugshot can bring, and the merch game and the excitement.
Yeah, but what about the immediate attention that an affair can bring, Ian?
Excitement and the banter and the slight jabs that it is, selling that on my Instagram. It's phenomenal. And it's clearly played on his mind. I know it has. I've seen him sending his dad or his coach a message saying he's dead. And it's it's just, I had him so emotionally invested in the fight mentally that now that he has dropped out and pulled out of the fight, you cannot sit there and tell me that that's not a win for me.
if they come back to you after this Neil Magny fight and say let's settle this between you guys because it has gone somewhat personal, are you interested in that?
I'm always interested in fighting people that are ranked higher than me. That is the whole goal. That is that everything I've been ranting and raving about and preaching is that if you are ranked higher than me, there is always an opportunity for that fight to happen. Especially when you look at all the rest of the division, there's only a certain amount of people I can fight. However, I feel like I've already beaten them. I feel like I've already got that win, and there's other people in the division that excite me more.
Like who?
Wonderboy, Kobe, Usman, Hamza, Bilal.
That's a lie. Stop lying, Ian. Hamzat does not excite you.
And Holland's coming up. He's going to get a fight soon. There's so many people. The entire top 10 is something that excites me. I'm about to break into the top 10 now. Saturday night, I'm going to beat Neil Magny in beautiful fashion. And then I'm in the top 10 area. I'm in the top 10 in such a short amount of time that every single possible matchup that you could put me in is going to be absolutely ridiculous.
So what all those names have in common that you just mentioned, like those are the top dogs. You feel like this is the fight that gets you into that conversation. Like everything changes after
100%.
Saturday.
100%. He's ranked number 11 in the world. Look.
How can it get you into top 5 contention when it's Neil Magny? No offense to Neil, but you know, he stays losing to some of the he stays outside of the top 10 basically. He's not really, if you need someone to face a top 5 and nobody else wants to do it, Magny is there, but he's never been elite. So if you beat Neil, it's not really going to say anything and it's not going to add anything to your career, but whatever.
I will give credit where credit is due to people who deserve it. Neil Magny is a dog.
Now he's going to try and hype him up, but it's not going to work. This is Neil Magny. He's the baddest MFer, so I think he deserves that belt instead of Gagey, but he's not elite.
Neil Magny is one of the best winners in the sport. And I say that because Neil comes out of fights that he shouldn't win with a win. He goes in there and he beats people with the same game. Everybody knows what Neil's going to do. He's not the most beautiful striker in the world. He's not the best grappler in the world. He's not the best wrestler in the world. But he'll go in there and he'll make it a clinch. He'll make it a dogfight. He'll push you up against the cage. He'll make it an awkward fight, a grind. He'll push people to the limits where they have to quit or they have to show why they're the best. And I seen a line a while ago. He separates contenders from pretenders. Neil Magny is that guy. He has been in the area. I think he's been ranked in the top 15 since before I was an amateur fighter. I genuinely think that's the truth. I genuinely think he's been in the top 15 before I was an amateur. Now I'm stepping in here. He's number 11 in the world. When I finish him, there is absolutely no realm where I am not ranked 10 or more in the world. So for me, absolutely every single person that is in that top 10, I am now looking at as a potential opponent. And it's like, it's exciting. It's exciting to see where we were to where we are and how fast it's been and the journey we've been on and the growth and the excitement and what else is to come. It's just, I'm still a fan of this sport who's just in. And
I'm just being petty, guys, but that t-shirt looks like garbage. It does.
They're doing what I love and I get to beat some of the best in the world now, and that's what I'm excited for.
By the way, speaking of being a fan, do you remember when Conor fought in Boston against Max Holloway? Were you watching that?
I was, yes. Look, everything that Boston brings to the table, the reason I say, I'm carrying this card is the Boston contingent is going to be out in full support. Full support.
Just because Boston liked Conor, it doesn't mean they're going to like you. Just saying.
And when I walk out and I'm representing that tricolour, every single person that has that Irish heritage, that Irish connection that's in that building is going to lose their mind. And it's going to be something special. And I'm excited for it. I look forward to it because I think people will finally see that I am one of the biggest superstars in the UFC. And it's just every single fight I get.
I don't, but go on, Ian.
To prove that. Ariel, I've told you about every single fight. Fighters will say X, Y, and Z. They'll say all the same things. oh, he's not fought anybody like me. You know, I'm the biggest test he's ever fought. They all say the same things. Yeah, I beat them. Yeah, every single fight I've ever been in the UFC, I've always been the person that the fans and the reporters are always talking about. Ian Garry showed up and he did it again. He proved that he is the future. He remained undefeated. Boston is going to be Ian Garry is legit. There's so many matchups we're excited for. Who's he going to call out? What are we excited for? The world is just going to explode, and I'm excited for it.
So after the last London show, David Shaw, who's an executive in the UFC, said, it's time that we start looking outside of London. He did reference Ireland. This has to happen. I feel like this is the one thing that's been missing, like a big homecoming fight for you. You win on Saturday. How much closer do you think you are to that fight happening, that scene happening, that moment happening for you?
I believe I've been pushing for it, Ariel. I met Dana in London. I said to Dana, we need that. We need the Irish back in. Like, we need the UFC back in Dublin. We need them back in the 3 Arena. The fans deserve it. The Irish deserve it. What Irish MMA has done for the sport is absolutely, like, there's no one else that has had the same. Like, the way the Irish took over, the fans, the way they just got excited behind Conor was. There's no other comparison. There really isn't. And that is what happens when you put on a show, when you bring the UFC to Ireland, it is going to connect in a different way. I am the guy who's leading this second wave of Irish MMA. I am that guy. I'm ranked in the top 15. I'm going to be ranked top 10 in the world after this fight. And I believe I want to fight again in December in Vegas. I want to fight another guy between 10 and 5. And after that, there is absolutely...
He wants to be on that alleged Conor card. Conor is allegedly coming back in December, but I really doubt it. I doubt it, but he wants to be on that December Conor card. Shocking.
No argument that the UFC have to come back to Dublin. They have to put on an amazing show, put me on the main event, and you can put anybody in that top 10 and be exciting. And I believe we deserve it. We've got a rake of talent that are coming up in the Cage Warriors. You've got champions that have just been signed from Cage Warriors. You've got people that need to be signed from Ireland. You've got Reece McKee and Caelan O'Cran who've just recently been signed. Both Cage Warriors world champions. I don't know how in the world Paul Hughes hasn't been signed to the promotion already, but he deserves to be signed. There is so much talent that is brewing in Ireland at the moment behind the scenes that people don't see. And for me to bring the UFC back to Dublin is a dream come true from a young Irishman who watched Conor, who watched all of that whole buzz, that mania around Ireland. To be able to do that myself is going to be a dream come true. And to be able to give the opportunity for others to join the promotion because of my success it's just going to bring...
Everything with Ian is just me. Every other word that comes out of his mouth is I, me. I'm going to do this. I'm going to change the sport. I'm going to headline this. I'm going to do that.
Irish MMA to a whole new level. And I'm excited for it. And I will earn that. And I'm pushing for it. And I'm parading for it. And when I get on this mic on Saturday night after my win, I'm going to shout it out. I'm going to call it out because it's what we deserve.
Yeah. It's long overdue. Do you have a name that you will call out on Saturday?
Yes, but I have to wait and see if there's other people that are being in talks. I know that there's talk. Look, this is the thing when you get to the top 10. There's only a certain amount of fights that you can call out because other people are matched. Do you know what I mean? For example, Khamzat's up at middleweight. You've got Leon, that everyone thinks Leon's going to fight Kobe. Who's Bilal going to fight? Who's Gilbert's out injured? Do you know what I mean? Who's Shavkat going to fight? Who's Brady going to fight? Who's Wonderboy going to fight? You hear all these talks. I need to talk to my people and find out who is linked, who is thing, because I don't want to call someone out and have that fight not come to fruition. I have my people that I want to call out, and I'm going to make it happen. When I win, I know who I want. So let's wait till Saturday night, you'll see. But trust me, it'll be worth it.
You know what's crazy? When you called out Magny in Charlotte, he was already booked,
yes.
And now you end up fighting him. Isn't that nuts?
Look, I've said this before. I get what I want always in my burial. I put that energy out there and it comes back to me tenfold. I told you I believe Jeff was going to pull out. I said it to my wife ages ago. I thought he was going to pull out. I didn't think he was going to show up. And Magny is as game as game comes. He's stepping in on short notice. But you got to give respect to me too. Yeah. I was going and fighting a 5'10" short, stocky power puncher in South. To fighting a long, rangy 6'3" orthodox who likes to clinch and grind the fight out. So I'm taking a fight on short notice too, and I'm going to go in there and show why I'm one of the best in the world, because when challenges come in and opponents change and the fight game is what the fight game is, I'm going to go out there and do what I do best, and I'm still going to knock Neil Magny out.
By the way, something just occurred to me. Just curious. I mean, your loyalty and your admiration for Conor has never been questioned, yes. But you just you just signed with the guy who keeps trying to fight him and talk shit about him. How's that going to sit with him?
Look. I've said this before. I am Conor's biggest fan. I am literally the first fighter of a generation to make it to the UFC because of Conor's rise. Mm-hmm. Right? What they want to do and what they have and their personal beef is nothing to do with it. Do you know what I mean? If you have two friends that don't get on, if you have two people that you know that don't get on, you can still be friends with both. You can still do business with both. You can still talk to both. You can still go over to both of their houses and have dinner. What they have is nothing to do with me.
Fair. Fair. Okay, fair enough.
That's called being an adult.
That is the right answer.
And trust me, I've seen it. I've been part of it with shit gone through. It's a horrible way to be. I don't want to get in between two people. You do your shit. If you guys don't like each other, fucking you be you. I'm being me.
Right. No, 100%. We had Charles Oliveira on recently. Asked him about training with you. You just mentioned being in Brazil for 2.5 months. I know your wife is she born in Brazil? Is she from Brazil?
No. Her mother's Brazilian. Her entire Brazilian. She has about 70, 80 Brazilian relatives. But her mother flew to England, loved England, settled down in England, and then every summer they went back to Brazil.
Okay. For you though, to go back with her as a father and training there with the likes of Charles and others, what was the experience like?
Sensational. It was. Ariel, I've been saying for 2.5 years to my wife that I want to go to Brazil and I want to live in Brazil, and I've never been. I just see from every Brazilian that I've ever met, every Brazilian that I've crossed paths with, their energy is different. It's something that I can connect to on a different level. And to be able to go to Brazil, to be able to learn Portuguese, to be able to immerse myself in the Brazilian culture was something that was so special, and I'll never, ever forget. And I'm excited to go back whenever it may be, to be able to train in Shoot the Box, to be able to train in Belo Horizonte with the likes of Felipe Pena. And just do the Brazilian way the right way, and do it with the Brazilians and mix it up and have the food, the energy, the family vibes. I absolutely for sure can say that I would retire in Brazil in a heartbeat, in a blink of an eye, and never, ever look back on it. And I cannot wait to go back. I'm delighted I got to bring my little boy to see his Brazilian side of the family. And yeah, I look forward to when we get to go back.
Did you have any acai, most importantly?
Of course I did, yes.
Tremendous, isn't it?
Actually, the first accolade I got in Brazil was in Sao Paulo with Diego Lima. He brought me to show me around. His energy is very special. As a person, that man is a special person. The way he looks after his fighters, the way he takes care of them. It's not a gym, it's a family. So I just want to shout that out because the love and the open arms that I was met with about Shoot the Box was very, very, very special. But the first acai I had was with Diego Lima. I got guarana and banana acai.
Oh, it's tremendous. A little granola on top. Did you have any granola?
No. I actually got a smoothie. Elvis recommended a smoothie.
Interesting.
So I tried it. I was like, I'll go with that. Oh, sensational.
Oh, the best. Nothing like here in America. It tastes completely different, right?
Nothing. And you know what? In Florida, there's a couple that are close because they're all Brazilian run.
Yeah.
But no, absolutely. Just the food in general. Where I was, Minas Gerais is like the most famous for food in Brazil.
Okay.
Ariel, I promise you, it is the best food I've ever had in my life. I ate 4 times more than I was eating in America, and I was lighter. My health, everything is better because the food in Brazil is just special. It's different. If you ever get a chance to go to Belo Horizonte, if I'm ever in Brazil and you ever want to come link up, I will show you the best restaurants you'll ever be at.
Were you sincere in flying over to fight Wonder Boy on 24 hours notice?
Oh my goodness, Ariel, you should have seen me. So I was getting a tattoo. I had like a stencil of a tattoo drawn. I was 100% serious. Because what's exciting for me, I've always said this. I'm a UFC fan first. The fact that I'm a UFC fighter, top 10 in the world, that's my life. But I'm a fan at first. I was a fan of the sport before I was a fighter of the sport. So when I think of like people jumping in on short notice, when I think of short notice fights, I think they're so badass. I think the person that steps in on short notice and saves a card or saves a fight, it's so badass. So for me to be in Brazil, for me to get on the phone to my management, to be with my team because we're all in the same building getting tattoos. When we were all there, and I'm like, legit, I will genuinely get on a plane tonight. I will weigh whatever Wonder Boy wants to weigh tomorrow morning. I will weigh less or the same as him, and I will fight him. One, out of respect for Wonder Boy, because I believe he deserves it. He's always been matched up with wrestler and grappler and wrestler and grappler. It's like, let the man stand and bang. Let the man showcase his skill set on the feet. Like, from a fan point of view, I want to see him do what he did against Kevin Holland. I don't want to see him get wrestled. I don't want to see that. There's no interest for me. So why wouldn't I do that? Also, the respect and the joy I would have from the fans and the audience and the UFC staff and everyone for stepping in on that 24 hours and fighting Wonder Boy on such a big card. 100%, I promise you from the bottom of my heart, I was sincere. I would have got on a plane that night and I would have fought the next day. 100%. Because I don't think the storylines like that in the UFC, not with people willing to do that. I am. I'm excited by matchups like that. To the point at which when Jeff pulled out and people were like to me, oh, I see all the people in the comments, Wonder Boy, Wonder Boy, Wonder Boy. I'm like, it's not as cool the other way around. It's not as cool if Wonder Boy wants to fight me. I'm way more excited to go fight him. But yes, 100%, I was sincere about that.
By the way, that tattoo is pretty gnarly in the back of your head there on your neck.
Yes, sir.
Isn't that close to a fight to get a tattoo?
I've gotten fights every time before my fight. Every single fight. I always get tattoos before my fight because I can. I love it. I respect, look, I am a new evolution of fighters. I'm the new era of fighters in this sport. respecting the rest and recovery of your body is something that I don't see a lot of elite MMA fighters do. They all talk about the grind, the grind, the grind, the grind, the grind. That's how you wear your body out and you burn the cogs. You need to respect rest and recovery, and you need to give it the time it deserves, because you don't get a horse ready to race by going, all right, I'm going to run you every single day. I'm going to run you into the ground. You're going to race and go all out. No, you slowly prepare that horse to go. You slowly prepare that build up, that fight, so that when you get to fight week, you're peaking. And that's exactly what I do. So no, I took a couple of days off. I took 4 or 5 days off after I got the tattoo. I flew from Sao Paulo back to Belo Horizonte. I flew from Belo to Miami, and then I jumped straight into training in Miami, in Florida.
And did you bust Chris Curtis's ribs? What happened there?
Oh, mate. Oh,
what's going on?
That guy is so nice, and I love him. This is what I mean. Look, I pulled in a picture perfect sparring partner to get me ready for Jeff Neal.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Curtis is the same height. He's a half-inch longer reach, and he has power in his hands. He's the 14th ranked middleweight in the world. And we were sparring, and I caught one kick, I caught another kick, I caught 2 kicks, something I was drilling and worked on. I flew my striking coach from England to Brazil to work for a week straight. We did like 10 sessions working fight-specific stuff to absolutely maul Jeff Neal. And I utilized those stuff on Chris. And Chris was so game, and he was coming at me with absolute heat. And I just landed one kick that was perfect, and I was so upset because I don't want to see that guy like hurt. I don't want to see my training partners injured because they're trying to help me. So yeah, I've been talking to him. He said it is pretty bad, and I'm obviously upset about that. But injuries happen in every gym. It's a part, as you say, it's a part of fighting, and I don't ever wish. For someone to be injured. I don't ever want any of my training partners to be injured, but we do meet up and fight in the gym. We do meet up and punch and kick each other, knee each other, and help each other in the face. It's bound to happen, and yeah, I just hope the guy doesn't lose out in any fights because of it.
Official prediction for Saturday.
Stoppage, second round. I haven't decided how, but I can tell you how the fight's going to go. Magny took the fight in short notice, so he's going to have to go in and lean on wrestling and lean on clinch and getting me up against the cage, something that he's done to everyone. Look at his last fight against Phil Rowe. He did exactly that. I believe he's going to have to lean in on that clinch work because there's no possible physical way that he can deal with the speed and the technique and the skill set that I have on the feet. It's going to be my job to stop him getting success and having that clinch work come to fruition. So it's going to be a very patient clinical performance from me. And eventually he's going to be desperate. Eventually he's going to find weaknesses in his game that he has to lean in and reach. He's going to have to start to be sloppy because he's not going to have success. And I believe that will be the second round. I believe in the first round, I piece him up, have him getting desperate. Second round, his coach come out where you got to change this up. And then I crack him with a flurry of shots. He either goes down or he shoots and I choke him.
Can't wait for it. Can't wait for that. Can't wait for the call out. Can't wait for your week. I feel like you'll be making a lot of noise this week in Boston.
I will be.
I look forward to that.
We're doing it differently. We're being disruptive. We're bringing a team. I told you this. The social media aspect. We spoke about it in the last fight afterwards. How it took an absolute leap, and again, it's taken another leap. And I want people like yourself. I want fans. I want people who understand the sport to see what goes on behind the scenes, be excited about it, give insight about my life, and really get people understanding that this is such a cool adventure I'm on. To go from a kid who joined the sport, being a fan of one of the best to ever do it, to now being in the sport, being ranked in the top 15, earning my top 10 spot, fighting the best of the best of the best, the insight, the knowledge, the joy, everything. I'm excited for it. And I think it's exciting to give the fans that insight, that outlook, and the possibilities of what is going to happen is insane. And I've just noticed you've got a slitter in front of you.
A what?
A slitter.
A slitter? What does that mean?
Right in front of you, and right in front of you beside that yellow bus. That's called a slitter. You know what that is?
Yes. I actually got this when I was at the Katie Taylor fight in Dublin. A fan. This is called a slitter? Oh,
a slitter. That is used in the game of hurling. Have you ever seen hurling?
I've seen some clips, but a fan came up to me when I was at the Black Forge Inn with Eddie Hearn and gifted me this, and I thought it was such a nice gift that I put it on my my little desk here.
So that is one of my favorite items ever. That is a slitter. We use it in hurling. That is the fastest game on grass, sir. And that is something that I played my entire life growing up.
There you go.
It brings back a lot of memories. I must get you a hurl when I meet you next and show you what it's like, because that thing getting fired at you is not fun to catch.
I can imagine. I would imagine an Ian Garry punch or kick, not fun to catch as well. I look forward to your week. I look forward to what you do on Saturday, the call it as well. Great stuff, Ian. Keep it up. Thanks, as always, for the time.
I appreciate you always. It's always a pleasure to be here and be on your platform. As I've said before, you are the best.
Thank you, Ian.